One of the most powerful secrets to changing your life is something called the mirror principle. This idea can completely change everything for you, and it's not about doing more or working harder. The mirror principle is all about who you become on the inside. Think about it. If you want to be rich, you need to feel rich in your mind first. If you don't change how you think and feel inside, nothing outside will really change. This is what the mirror principle is all about. When you get good at using this principle, everything you touch can turn out great. But here's the thing. You have to be ready to look at yourself honestly, even the parts you might not like. If you're truly ready for big changes in your life, keep watching. I'm going to show you how to use this amazing principle and share a super helpful exercise I still use every day. Now, let's talk about why changing yourself inside is so important. Imagine you're looking in a big mirror. Whatever you do, the mirror copies you exactly. Life is kind of like that mirror. It shows you what you believe about yourself and the world. Let's say you think you're not good at making money. Life will keep showing you things that make you feel that way. It's like the mirror is saying, "Oh, you think you can't make money? Okay, here's more proof of that." But here's the cool part. If you change what you believe, the mirror has to change too. It always shows you what you truly believe deep down. So, what does it mean when we say reality is like a mirror? Well, it's showing us two big things: how we feel about ourselves and how we see the world around us. If you look in the mirror and think, "I'm not good enough," that's what life will keep showing you. It's like having a super loyal friend who always agrees with what you say about yourself, even if it's not good. But instead of trying to change what we see in the mirror directly, we need to change how we see ourselves first. It's like when you try to get someone to do something. If you just say, "Don't do that," they might want to do it even more. But if you explain why something's a good idea and help them understand, they're more likely to listen. We need to do the same thing with our lives, change how we think about ourselves, and the mirror of life will start to show us something new. Now, let's talk about how to actually change this. How do we stop seeing the same old stuff in the mirror of life and start seeing what we want? The key is to create a new way of seeing yourself and the world. Here's how you can do it. First, think about what you want your life to be like in 10 years. What do you want to be doing every day? What kind of person do you want to be? Really picture it in your mind. Then ask yourself, who am I being when I have all these things? What kind of person are you in that future? How do you act? How do you think? Next, think about how you see the world when you're living that amazing life. Do you see the world as a friendly place? As a place full of chances to do great things? Write down some powerful statements about yourself and the world based on this. For example, you might say, "I am worthy of good things," or "I turn everything I touch into something amazing." About the world, you might say, "The world is full of opportunities for me," or "Everything happens at the right time for me." Say these things to yourself every day. Really try to feel them as true. It might feel weird at first, but keep doing it. You'll start to see small changes in how you feel and what happens around you. Even if what you want seems really hard right now, that doesn't mean you can't get there. Everything takes time, so be patient with yourself. but don't let fear stop you from trying for something amazing. Here's something really important to understand about the mirror of life. What we see in our real life doesn't change right away. In our minds, we can imagine something new instantly. But in the real world, things take time to change. It's because the physical world is more solid and can't break the rules of nature to make things appear instantly. So, what does this mean for you? It means you have to hold on to your new beliefs about yourself and the world for long enough to see them come true. Whatever you want to be, start acting like you're already that person. Ask yourself, how would someone who's already successful, confident, happy act in this situation? Then do that. And keep doing it, even if you don't see results right away. Here's what usually happens when people start doing this. They create a new belief and expect things to change right away. When it doesn't, they start to feel down. Their mood goes down, and so does their belief. But here's the funny thing. Just when they're feeling really low, that's often when their goal starts to show up. But because they were feeling bad before, what shows up isn't quite as good as they hoped. Then they feel even worse, and the cycle starts again. This up and down cycle is normal. You can't avoid having good days and bad days. The key is to stick with your new beliefs about yourself and the world, no matter what. That's how you make big, lasting changes in your life. Now let's talk about something really powerful that I use every day. The mirror of life doesn't just reflect whether your thoughts are good or bad. It reflects what your thoughts are about. Let me explain. If you keep saying things like, I hate my boring job, or I hate all these bills, the mirror doesn't reflect the hate. It reflects the job you don't like and more bills. So you end up getting more of what you don't want. The more you complain about what you don't have or don't want, the more reasons life gives you to keep complaining. This is the big difference between thinking there's not enough, scarcity, and thinking there's plenty, abundance. It's like seeing a glass as half empty or half full. So how do you use this idea? It's simple. Focus on what you want and what you already have. To make any change happen, start by noticing all the good things you have right now. Think about all the progress you've made, the good people in your life, the things that make you happy. Then, think about what you want. What would make your life exciting and fun? How would that feel? It doesn't have to be a clear picture. Just focus on the feeling of having what you want. When you do this, you start to close the gap between your current life and the life you want. You start to push yourself to try new things and grow. Now let's talk about the mirror cycle. This is really important because if you learn how to use this cycle, you'll see your reality changing before your eyes. You won't be so unsure about what you're doing anymore. Here's how most people get stuck. They look at their life, observation, then they form an opinion about it, image, and then life reflects that opinion back to them, reflection. They keep looking at the reflection and stay stuck in the same pattern. They try different things, new jobs, new relationships, but nothing really changes because they haven't changed inside. But there's a way to break this cycle and become a true creator of your life. Instead of starting with what you see around you, start with the image you want to create. Turn your back on your current reality for a moment. Remember, what's around you now came from decisions you made in the past. If you want to shape your future, you need to make new decisions today. So, start with the image of what you want. Really feel it as true. The mirror of life has no choice but to start reflecting this new image, even if it's just in small ways at first. Then, instead of looking for proof that nothing's changing, look for small signs that things are getting better. If you wanted more confidence, notice when people treat you a little better. If you wanted to improve your work, notice the small improvements happening. Your whole world might seem to be falling apart, but only focus on the things that match the new reality you're trying to create. Keep doing this, and over time, your life will change in ways you never imagined possible. I know this might sound a bit out there. At the beginning of my own journey, I thought it was nonsense too. But when I saw the results in my own life, it blew my mind. Things I wanted started coming to me, even better than I had imagined. As we dig deeper into this idea of life as a mirror, we find a power inside us that we often forget about. What we see around us is really an echo of what we believe, who we think we are, and how we see the world. But here's the secret to changing things. Instead of just looking at what's around us, we need to create a clear picture of who we want to be and what we want to achieve. As we create this new picture in our minds, the mirror of life starts to respond. It might be in small ways at first, but things start to change. The mirror of life has no limits. It just shows us what we truly believe. Just like someone who can turn ordinary metal into gold, we can change our lives by focusing on the good things we have and the great things we want. In the end, this journey through the mirror of life is all about finding the truth inside ourselves. It's about celebrating our ability to create, to come up with new ideas, to become more than we are right now. I hope this knowledge lights a fire in you, helping you to create the life of your dreams. Remember, change takes time. Be patient with yourself. Keep practicing these ideas and watch how your life starts to transform. You have the power to shape your reality. It all starts with what you choose to see in the mirror of life. The current state of humanity. In today's world, it seems like everyone is always in a rush. People are more connected than ever through technology, but somehow we're feeling more disconnected from ourselves and each other. Look around, and you'll see folks glued to their phones, constantly checking social media, or worrying about what's next on their to-do list. It's like we're all caught up in this big, busy whirlwind, and we've forgotten how to just be still and look inside ourselves. This constant busyness is taking a toll on us. Many people are feeling stressed out, anxious, and like something's missing in their lives. We're so focused on the outside world, our jobs, our social lives, our appearances, that we've lost touch with our inner selves. It's like we're all actors in a play, but we've forgotten who we really are behind the mask. But here's the thing. This disconnection from ourselves is exactly why the mirror principle is so powerful. When we start to use it, we begin to break free from this cycle of constant distraction. We start to pay attention to what's going on inside us, and that's where real change begins. Now, let's dive into the 4 key ideas that will help you use the mirror principle to shape your life the way you want. These keys are like the secret code to unlocking the power of your own mind and changing your reality. The first key is understanding that the mirror of reality reflects 2 things: how you see yourself and how you see the world around you. This is super important, so let's break it down. How you see yourself is like the image you project onto the mirror. If you think you're not smart enough, or not good-looking enough, or not worthy of success, that's what the mirror will show you. The world will seem to prove these beliefs true, even if they're not really true at all. How you see the world is like the background in the mirror. If you think the world is a harsh, unfair place where only the lucky few succeed, guess what? That's the kind of world you'll see around you. You'll notice all the unfairness and hardship and miss the opportunities and kindness that are also there. Here's the cool part. Once you understand this, you can start to change what you're projecting. Instead of trying to change the reflection directly, which is like trying to make a mirror show something different by yelling at it, you change the image you're projecting. Think of it like this. The mirror of reality is like a super loyal friend who always agrees with you. Whatever you say about yourself or the world, this friend nods and says, "You're right." So instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," start saying, "I'm becoming better every day." Instead of thinking, "The world is against me," try thinking, "The world is full of opportunities for me to grow." It might feel weird or fake at first, but remember, you're not lying to yourself. You're choosing to focus on the positive possibilities instead of the negative assumptions. And when you do this consistently, you'll start to see changes in your reflection, in how people treat you, in the opportunities that come your way, and in how you feel about yourself and your life. The second key to mastering the mirror principle is understanding that there's often a delay between when you change your inner world and when you see changes in your outer world. This is super important, because not knowing this is where a lot of people give up. Here's the deal. In your mind, you can change an image instantly. You can go from picturing yourself as unsuccessful to picturing yourself as a total boss in a split second. But in the physical world, things take time to change. It's like the difference between changing a digital photo, instant, and developing an old-school film photo takes time. This delay happens because the physical world is, well, physical. It's solid stuff that can't just poof into something else instantly. Plus, our lives involve other people, circumstances, and natural laws that all need time to shift and rearrange. So, what does this mean for you? It means you need to hold on to your new beliefs and self-image long enough for the physical world to catch up. If you decide you're confident and capable, you need to keep believing that even if you don't see results right away. This is where a lot of people mess up. They change their thinking for a day or two, don't see instant results, and go back to their old ways of thinking. But that's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's grown yet. You've got to give it time. Here's a tip. Whatever you want to be, start acting like you're already that person. Want to be more confident? Ask yourself, what would a confident person do in this situation? Then do that. Want to be successful? Start making decisions like a successful person would. Remember, you're playing the long game here. It's not about instant results. It's about consistent change over time. Keep projecting that new image of yourself and the world, and eventually, your reflection will change to match it. Now, let's talk about the third key, which is all about what you're actually thinking about. This is a game changer, folks, so pay attention. Here's the deal. The mirror of reality doesn't just reflect whether your thoughts are positive or negative. It reflects what your thoughts are about. This is huge, so let me break it down for you. Let's say you're always thinking, I hate my job, I hate my boss, I hate these bills. You might think you're just expressing your frustration, right? But here's the twist. The mirror doesn't reflect the hate. It reflects the job you don't like, the boss you're struggling with, and more bills. So you end up getting more of exactly what you don't want. It's like telling the universe, hey, give me more reasons to complain about my job, my boss, and my bills. And the universe goes, you got it, boss, and serves up more of the same. This is the big difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. Scarcity is always focusing on what you don't have and don't want. Abundance is focusing on what you do have and what you do want. It's like the old saying about seeing the glass as half empty or half full. So how do you use this knowledge? It's pretty simple, but it takes practice. Start focusing on what you want and what you already have. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but it means changing how you think about them. Instead of, I hate my job, try, I'm grateful for the income from my job, and I'm excited about finding work I love. Instead of, I hate these bills, try, I'm thankful for the services these bills represent, and I'm looking forward to increasing my income. When you want to make a change in your life, start by appreciating what you already have. Think about the progress you've made, the good people in your life, the things that bring you joy. Then, focus on what you want. How would your ideal life feel? What would you be doing? You don't need a super clear picture. Just focus on the feeling of having what you want. When you do this, something magic happens. You start to close the gap between your current life and the life you want. You push yourself to try new things, to grow, to step out of your comfort zone. And bit by bit, your reality starts to change to match your new focus. Remember, this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing where to put your mental energy. When you focus on the good stuff and what you want more of, you train your brain to spot opportunities, to feel more grateful, and to take positive action. And that's when things really start to change. Now we're getting to the really powerful stuff. The fourth key is understanding and mastering what I call the mirror cycle. This is where everything we've talked about comes together, and it's the secret to seeing real, lasting change in your life. Here's how the mirror cycle usually works for most people. First, they look at their life and notice all the stuff they don't like. That's the observation stage. Then, based on what they see, they form an opinion about themselves and the world. That's the image stage. Finally, life reflects that image back to them, showing them more of what they expect to see. That's the reflection stage. The problem is, most people get stuck in this cycle. They keep observing the same old stuff, forming the same old opinions, and seeing the same old reflections. It's like being on a hamster wheel. Lots of effort, but you're not really going anywhere new. Even when people try to make changes, maybe they start a new job or a new relationship, they often end up back where they started. Why? Because they haven't changed the core image they're projecting. They're still the same person on the inside, so they keep creating the same kind of life on the outside. But here's the exciting part. You can flip this cycle around and use it to create the life you want. Instead of starting with observation, start with the image you want to create. This is where you get to play director in the movie of your life. Here's how to do it. First, turn your back on your current reality for a moment. Remember, what's around you now came from your past thoughts and decisions. If you want a different future, you need to make different choices now. Start with the image of what you want your life to be like. Really feel it as if it's already true. Imagine how you'd think, feel, and act if you were already living that life. The mirror of reality has no choice but to start reflecting this new image back to you, even if it's just in small ways at first. Now here's the crucial part. Instead of looking for proof that nothing's changing, start looking for small signs that things are getting better. If you're working on being more confident, notice when people respond to you a little more positively. If you're trying to improve your work life, pay attention to small improvements or new opportunities. Your whole world might seem to be the same old story, but your job is to focus only on the things that match the new reality you're trying to create. It's like tuning a radio. You're dialing in to the frequency of the life you want. Keep doing this, and over time, you'll see bigger and bigger changes. Your life will start to transform in ways you might never have thought possible. It's not magic. It's just using the power of your mind to reshape your reality. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but does it really work? Well, let me share my own experience with you. When I first heard about these ideas, I was skeptical. It sounded a bit too good to be true, you know? I mean, change your thoughts and change your life? Come on. But I was at a point where I was willing to try anything, so I gave it a shot. I started small. Every morning, I'd think of 3 things I was grateful for. At first, it felt a bit forced, but after a week or so, I noticed I was smiling more. Little things that used to annoy me didn't bother me as much. Then I started visualizing the kind of life I wanted. I imagined myself confident, successful, doing work I loved. Again, at first it felt like I was just daydreaming. But I kept at it, and I started noticing little changes. I'd catch myself standing a little taller, speaking up more in meetings. The real breakthrough came when I started focusing on what I wanted instead of what I didn't want. Instead of complaining about my job, I started appreciating the good parts and imagining my ideal career. And you know what? Within a few months, I got a promotion I never thought I'd get. But here's the really crazy part. Opportunities started showing up that I never would have expected. I met people who helped me move my career in a whole new direction. I found myself taking on challenges I would have run from before. Now, did everything in my life magically become perfect? Of course not. I still had bad days, still faced problems, but my whole approach to life had changed. I wasn't a victim of circumstances anymore. I was actively shaping my reality. Today, I use all 4 keys of the mirror principle every day. I'm constantly amazed at how my life keeps evolving in positive ways. Things I once thought were impossible dreams are now my everyday reality. Now I know this might all sound a bit overwhelming. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm just too busy, or I don't know if I can change how I think. I get it. I felt the same way when I started. But here's the thing. These changes don't have to take a lot of time. You can start with just a few minutes a day. The key is consistency, not perfection. Start with something simple, like the gratitude practice I mentioned. Every morning, before you get out of bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be your comfy pillow, the smell of coffee, or the sound of birds outside. Then, try visualizing your ideal day for just 5 minutes. How would you feel? What would you be doing? Really let yourself feel the emotions of living that life. When you catch yourself complaining or focusing on what you don't want, gently shift your thoughts to what you do want. Instead of "I hate being stuck in traffic," try "I'm looking forward to having a productive day at work." Remember, you don't have to be perfect at this. It's okay if you slip back into old thought patterns sometimes. Just notice when it happens and gently guide yourself back to the new way of thinking. And here's a really important tip. Be patient with yourself. Big changes don't happen overnight, but little by little, day by day, you'll start to see differences. Maybe you'll feel a little calmer, a little more confident. Maybe you'll start noticing opportunities you would have missed before. The mirror principle isn't about forcing change or pretending everything's perfect. It's about aligning your inner world with the outer world you want to create. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts the life you desire. So give it a try. What do you have to lose? At worst, you'll spend a few minutes each day focusing on good things and imagining a better life. At best, you might just transform your entire reality. As we wrap up our journey through the mirror principle, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've discovered that reality is like a mirror, reflecting back to us our deepest beliefs about ourselves and the world. We've learned that by changing our inner world, our thoughts, beliefs, and focus, we can gradually change our outer world. We explored the 4 key principles: understanding the 2 reflections, recognizing the delay in manifestation, focusing on the content of our thoughts, and mastering the mirror cycle. Each of these keys gives us a powerful tool for reshaping our reality. Remember, this isn't about magical thinking or ignoring real challenges. It's about harnessing the incredible power of your mind to create positive change in your life. It's about becoming an active creator of your reality rather than a passive observer. The mirror principle isn't just a concept, it's a practice. It's something you can use every single day to gradually transform your life. Start small, be consistent, and watch as your world begins to shift. As you go forward from here, I encourage you to be curious and open-minded. Notice how your thoughts and beliefs are shaping your experiences. Look for those small signs that your new way of thinking is making a difference. Celebrate every little victory along the way. And most importantly, be kind to yourself on this journey. Change takes time, and it's okay to have setbacks. What matters is that you keep moving forward, keep aligning your inner world with the life you want to create. You have within you the power to shape your reality. Your mind is the tool, and the mirror principle is the method. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and watch as your life transforms in ways you might never have imagined possible. Remember, the world is your mirror. What will you choose to see reflected back to you? The power is in your hands. Now go out there and create the life you've always dreamed of. Your new reality is waiting for you to step into it.